Hey, Chandler here, and in this video I want to talk to you about building a talent bench and why you should always be recruiting in your company. Now, as you develop and as you grow your company, whether you're a leader at a company, a CEO at a company, one of the most detrimental things to your growth, to your success, to your ability to hit your goals, all those things, is losing a key person and having to rehire for that position. This can set you back months. This can set you back years. Maybe you only have one employee and that's your assistant, and you lose your assistant and you don't have good systems. You don't have any of those things. So now it takes you months to find another person, takes you months to get them trained, all those things. So, I've got another video on why it's important that you have really great systems in your company. And this is one of those examples. But even if you do have great systems in your company, well, you still have key man risk, all right? So maybe you heard the saying key man risk, and this is why you should always be recruiting or really building what we call a talent bench. All right, and this is super important. This is one of your biggest jobs as a CEO of a company, or one of your biggest jobs as a leader of a department or a leader at a company, is building that talent bench. Now, what is a talent bench? So talent bench, this is a group of people, or it's kind of like, think sports, like who's on the bench or who's on deck. It's a group of people that are ready to go into the game at any point in time. Now, there's two ways to do this. There's internal and external. All right, and I like to do both at the same time. So I'm always developing leaders, I'm always developing talent, all those things, so that I know if I lose someone, we've done enough cross-training where I can move someone into that role and then rehire for the more entry-level position. So you're developing talent internally, that's super important, but also it's important that you keep an external talent bench. And so I'm doing this, and we're doing this at Self-Publishing School for every single position, because this does two things. Number one, it helps protect if someone leaves, and then number two, it spurs better performance for every single person on your team, because you can hold them accountable, you can challenge them, all those things, and and they know that there's someone on the talent bench that's ready to jump in if necessary. And there's nothing like having a great backup quarterback or backup running back or backup anything in any game, because it challenges the person that's in the game to do better, to be better, to all those things. So what I encourage you to do, and this is really why you should always be recruiting, is do two things. Number one, analyze. Where is the key man risk in my business? Okay. And I think you should do this at least once a quarter and say, hey, if I were to lose, I did this one time and I said, oh my gosh, if I were to lose these two people, they're responsible for about 60% of my revenue. So then I immediately hired a stopgap solution to alleviate some of that key man risk. I started cross-training, I started systematizing, like all those things, because I just wanted to make sure, just in case they did leave, that there wasn't so much key man risk, but also I was building the talent bench, which that's the second part. So you're identifying key man risk. First and foremost, you should do that once a quarter. But then secondly, internally and externally, you're building a talent bench of people who could take those positions. And so what does this look like practically? So I already talked about, developing internally, externally, all that stuff. So it's more than just a list of names. It's randomly having conversations. It's talking with people. Maybe you got through the hiring process and you had a top 5 that was really good for that position. Well, I'll always say to the next 3, I'll say, hey, we've got positions that are open all the time. Do you want me to stay in contact with you? And maybe there's a fit somewhere down the road, right? And so I'm always building that. And we kind of always have this group of people who they've either applied for a bunch of positions at Self-Publishing School, they've gotten into the top 3 or top 5, and they're like, yes, I would love to work with you at some point. Or I've just had kind of an entry-level conversation, said, hey, would you ever want to come work at SPS? And I'm just always putting birds in people's ears and kind of planting those seeds and saying, hey, I'd love to work with you sometime. And so you're building that talent bench. So now that you know what it is, why it's important, and how to do it, I just want to end with this, and that's that you are accountable as a leader, as the CEO. So if you're the CEO of the organization, you need to be building this talent bench all the time, because there's nothing worse than having so much momentum and then you have a key person leave and your company gets set back 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. Same thing if you're a leader in your company, and especially if you're a leader at Self-Publishing School, you are accountable for this, right? You need to be looking around corners, looking ahead and saying, always looking within your team, saying, what's the key man risk? How can I cross-train? How can I systematize? How can I develop leaders internally? And then also, how can I build that talent bench? And per team, you need to always have people who are on the talent bench ready to jump in the game, all right? So I'd love to hear your thoughts. What were your takeaways from this video? How can you build a talent bench in your company, on your team, or in your role? So scroll below this video, comment, let me know your takeaways. I'd also love to hear, how have you done this in your business or in your company or on your team? How do you build a talent bench and keep making sure that you have a pipeline of qualified candidates that could work at your company? So scroll below this video right now, take 2 minutes to comment on this video. I read and respond to every comment, so I'd love to hear your thoughts and your takeaways here. And then also, as always, click the like button, click the subscribe button, subscribe to this channel, and subscribe to the 7 Figure Principles podcast. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Talk soon.